Hey everybody, what's going on? Brandon here, and I know what you're probably thinking, why is Brandon doing a video on Saturday? And quick answer for that is my wife has to get surgery on Monday, so I probably more than likely will not be uploading a video Monday, and if she's still in a lot of pain, or on Tuesday. So instead of that, I'm going to do a video today. I might do one tomorrow just to make up for Tuesday, but let's get started. Now, I know I said a few videos ago that I wasn't going to be doing any more Paladins content, and I was very committed to not doing any Paladins content anymore. I was, had no problem not doing any more Paladins content, but because my original videos were Paladins videos that kind of blew up on this channel, and a lot of you guys are subscribers from those videos, I've had a lot of you write me on the comments, write me in messages, and ask me, please, give us your thoughts on, the state of Paladins now, with them removing Cards Unbound, with them removing VIP, and the actual 1.0 launch, or now it's 1.0b, as well as Realm Royale and Paladins Battlegrounds. I mean, there's been a lot going on in Paladins, and you've all asked me to cover it, so I'm going to go ahead and do this last video and just kind of give you a quick rundown on my thoughts on the state of the entire realm. So, let's get started with this. Alright, so first off, I'm going to talk about Paladins, then I'll move on to Realm Royale, because I think I can sum up my Paladins discussion a lot faster than I can the discussion with Realm Royale. So, for starters, Paladins and OB64, they're removing Cards Unbound. This happened before the launch, and a lot of you guys asked me, what my thoughts were on this. Now, if you guys seen my, you should have seen this coming video, that answers a lot of why I hated Cards Unbound and why I'm getting the request to do these videos. And that was because when they introduced Cards Unbound, it was very pay to win. It changed the loadout system that we all were accustomed to already. We'd all grown attached to it. It kind of limited customization, and it was pay to win. I mean, the more money you could spend to get more gold and more crystals and whatnot, the better chance you had of having a stronger character, which made new players at a huge disadvantage unless they had a lot of money. And it also kind of ripped off a lot of the players that were veterans because they didn't get as much in return when the change went into effect. So I was very against OB64 and Cards Unbound, as was most of the community. And I also, in that video, talked about my thoughts on VIP and how I thought it was a bad idea to go that route because it was just another premium currency, and it really didn't make sense to implement a second premium currency, and it just showed they were focusing too much on the microtransactions and the cosmetics rather than they were focusing on the bugs and the gameplay. Now, about 4 months after they announced it, and about a month or 3 months after they released it, because it took them about a month to introduce Cards Unbound, because they had it in PTS for a month before it actually went live. Now, when I originally did the video, didn't think that they would end up following through with it going live, because they kept doing the PTS for, it was like a month. They were changing it every week, and so many people were complaining about it. I thought, there's no way they're going to take this live, because it's a bad idea. And, well, they did. They took it live, and Paladins saw a huge decline in players. Now, when they saw that huge decline in players, they had the hi-rez expo, and at that hi-rez expo, they had announced Paladins Battlegrounds, which was going to be a Paladins hero shooter battle royale game. Now, the thing is, with the history of that, the Paladins Battlegrounds wasn't originally Paladins Battlegrounds. It was a game called Tribes Royale, where they were making a battle royale game for tribes. And I'm going to take a stab in the dark here that they changed it to Paladins Battlegrounds and added, the hero shooter objective of it, and they changed it because they were trying to get players to come back to Paladins, because after the huge drop with Cards Unbound, they were losing players, and they had this game they had already started working on and decided, what, we're going to go ahead and just change this just enough to showcase something and get a trailer put up, and that way we can get some more players back. And it worked. A lot of people were attracted to Paladins Battlegrounds. Even I, when I saw the trailer, I was really confused because I was like, I don't see how this is going to work. I don't see how balance is going to play out in this. But you know what? I'll go ahead and I will, I'll just keep a wary eye on it and see how that goes. Well, obviously, when it did drop, a lot of the community members, a lot of the content creators played it and tried it out, and they all agreed, yeah, it's very unbalanced, and you can't really put a hero shooter like that into a battle royale setting, because the characters are way unbalanced, and changing them just for that game mode would be even more of a pain than what it was worth. So, and on top of that, they added the Cards Unbound system into the battle royale game, which meant like if you had cards that were a super high ability, it would affect you whenever you found, cards in the game and Paladins Battlegrounds. So the pay to win aspect transferred over, and it made a lot of people unhappy. And then after all that came to surface, the player count dropped again, and that was because, you know, there was a lot of hype when they announced the Battlegrounds. It brought a lot of new players in. Then once the new players figured out what all was going on, they all started, you know, dying off. It was basically Radical Heights all over again, or before Radical Heights actually. But anyway, so a lot of the player counts left again, and they decided, okay, well, we're gonna remove Paladins Battlegrounds from Paladins in general. We're gonna turn it into Realm Royale standalone game mode, and we're going to keep OB64 and Cards Unbound. Well, they did that for about 3 months, and then they finally decided, okay, they removed that. Then they removed VIP, and so now the game is it's more polished. It runs a lot better than what it used to. Most of the bugs are fixed. I mean, there are still bugs here, and it's in launched. It's came out. It's at 1.0b now, which is actually still OB 0.70 something, but they're calling it 1.0b. But anyway, they've removed most of the bugs. They've kept it more polished. They've changed some of the staff where they are working. So a lot of the team members have changed, and the game just is running a lot better, and it plays a lot more like it did way before VIP was introduced, and that's what I like about it. It plays like it used to, and it's also more polished. So I am playing it again. The big thing that I am disliking about playing it again is all my friends that played when I played, they don't play anymore. So they never came back. After the OB64, they left, and they never came back. And so basically I'm teaming up with randoms trying to find new people to play with, and I will admit the matchmaking is still very broken. I am getting matched up with people that I'm trying to have to explain how to play the game, and they're choosing like characters they're level 1 with or haven't played with, and I'm getting supports that don't heal. I'm getting front lines that don't try to get the objective. It's been a nightmare. It's not been fun getting back into the game because of how many new players are playing, which, I mean, eventually all those people will learn and they'll get better, but it's still, I have not even wanted to play ranked yet because I played 2 matches of my qualifying for this season, and I wound up with people. I, at one point in time, had 2 front lines that they did not get on. They had a combined 7 objective time, so I had to try to capture the objective as a victor, and it was ridiculous. Nobody would listen over the mics. Nobody was taking the point. So there is a lot more new players, which is good for the growth of the game, but it's also bad because the matchmaking is just all over the place now. They still have not fixed the whole invisible ranking system, which I don't like. It accounts for wins and losses in both casual and ranked, and that determines your matchmaking in ranked and casual. So your rank really doesn't matter. Your rank in the game is basically pointless. It's a trophy because your MMR is still something completely different, and that accounts for casual matches. And I don't like that because I don't think casual matches should count towards your ranking at all. Because a lot of people go into casual matches looking to practice with a new champion or just to have fun, where they don't want the weight of a win or loss affecting them because they want to go in there and have fun. You know, when you want to play serious, you play ranked. When you want to go in and have fun, you play casual. And for casual to affect everything in the background, just to me, is just it gets rid of the whole point of having even a ranking system and having a ranked mode or competitive mode entirety. So it doesn't really. That's one thing I still don't like about it, and I've been playing it. I'm having fun playing it again, but it has been kind of a pain. So, moving on now to Realm Royale. Now, Realm Royale, I got into the PTS when it initially launched, before they were allowing streaming and capturing, and you started out with a sword back then, and the game, I mean, everybody looked kind of like a victor, and I don't know, it was very, 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 very clunky, very unbalanced, and I didn't enjoy it when I first got into the PTS at all. I didn't enjoy it whatsoever. I hated it. I had no fun time playing it, but I kept coming back every time they'd add an update, and kept coming back and kept coming back. And now they've got the recent update out, which adds the class system. So now you've got assassins, you've got warriors, and you've got engineers, and then you've got 2 other classes that are coming at a later date. And those classes have certain abilities they can find and they can use, and they have also got perks. Like the warrior, I believe, gets like 5% health increase when he stays out of combat. The assassin has 10% increased movement speed, and the engineer gets 5% armor repair during staying out of combat. So that system is really cool. And while the combat mechanics, they are still clunky, they are kind of hard to get used to. It's not bad. I definitely recommend playing in squads, though, because every match I've played in solo is more aggravating than it is fun. Mostly because it's the class system and because the way how clunky the mechanics are and stuff. And it's just the solo mode gets really aggravating. I don't find it very enjoyable. Squad mode I find very fun, and I think this game will flourish with squads. And the reason that is because as soon as they get the aiming mechanics down and the combat and all the items balanced and the abilities balanced and maybe fix some of the way you drop into the map. I don't like the way you drop into the map because in order to go outward, you have to move your mouse a certain way to where pretty much you see the belly of the guy that's falling, and you can't even really tell which direction you're going. I really hope they kind of fix that, maybe just holding down a mouse button so you can kind of glide a certain direction and not have to just have the mouse almost completely underneath your character. But once I get some of that ironed out, I really do think this game can flourish because it is different. It's not like every Battle Royale game out there. It's got its own quirks that make it work. As for when instead of being downed, you turn into a chicken, like when Pip hits you with his ultimate, and I like that, especially in squads. It makes a lot of sense. It'd be really cool if that stays, but I don't like it in solo. I think when you die in solo, you should die in solo. Turning into a chicken for I think it's 30 or 40 seconds is just in solo is useless because it's almost impossible to get away as a chicken. I've done it like I think once out of like 40 games that I've played, and but the game can flourish a lot because of what it adds that's different. Now, and what I mean by that is if you're good at Battle Royale games and you're good at Paladins, that does not mean you're going to be good at this game. So I went into this game thinking, well, I'm good at Paladins and I'm good at PUBG and I'm good at Fortnite. So I should be able to come into this game and have, at least a good amount of experience, and it does not translate. The shooting mechanic feels nothing like either of those two games. It feels a lot like playing Paladins in third person, which I don't do. I don't like playing Paladins in third person. But it is it's real. The shooting is really precise, especially with like the crossbow, and but you can find the special abilities. They all have like rankings, like similar to Fortnite, how you can get a gun that's common, uncommon, rare, ultimate, legendary. That all applies to all the gear here, and that comes with armor, comes with weapons, and it comes with abilities. Now, your class can only use certain abilities, and you have class-specific weapons you can get. Now, right now, there's no customization on the characters, which I don't know. I hope they add that. I mean, I'm sure they will. At least make it where you can change like the hair color and the gender. I'm really hoping that we can get different races, more like a World of Warcraft kind of thing, where you can choose a race from all the different kind of races that are in the Paladins realm. So I mean, you got the race like Pip, or you got orcs like Grok, or you have like the stone people like Terminus and Inara. That would be really cool. I don't know if that will happen. If it does, it'll probably be way later. But I think that would be a really neat addition to the game. And I think this game can flourish because of the squad play, because you can have one member of your team be an engineer, one be an assassin, one be a warrior, and one be a hunter or a mage once those classes come out. I think it'll be really cool because you can play off each other's strengths, and you can have roles when you go into these games, whereas in PUBG and Fortnite, everybody's just the same. And I think that's what'll set this game apart. Now, do I know if it'll succeed because of these changes? I don't know. It might succeed, it might not succeed. It could, if they can fix the aiming mechanic and maybe find a way to make solo play a little bit more enjoyable, so people can just hop on when their friends aren't online and play by themselves. Right now, I played solo all day yesterday when it was up, and I hated it. I didn't have any fun playing. I found a few bugs that I had to report, which they wrote back to me whenever I reported. One of them was like, well, thanks, man. We'll let everybody know that's pretty bad. That's a pretty bad exploit. So they definitely seem to be at least communicating. So if they can make solo a little bit more enjoyable and smooth out the mechanics, the way it aims and stuff. Now, the way it plays, I really thought maybe this game would play better with a controller, because there are some games that they play better with a controller. They feel better with a controller. And I thought maybe because the way this played, because the way the aiming mechanic was, I thought maybe this will just play better on a controller. And it gave me the option for controller settings, so I plugged in my controller, and I don't know if it's just my game is messed up, but the controller did nothing. Like the stuff is there telling me I can use a controller, but it's not actually letting me use the controller at all. So it definitely takes getting used to. There's a huge learning curve. Don't come into this game thinking, well, I'm good at Fortnite, I'm going to be good at this. There is a massive learning curve. It does not play anything like Fortnite or PUBG, and I don't know if that's necessarily just because the engine needs, you know, tweaked a little bit to make it a little bit more smooth and less clunky, but it definitely, there's some things that need to be changed. It's something I can't quite put my finger on what it needs to change. Like, something just does not feel right when playing it, so I can't figure out what it is. It's just, there's something about it. You have to play it to figure it out for yourself, because yeah, there's definitely something about it that doesn't feel right, but I'm pretty sure they'll get it smoothed out. But yeah, I think Royale it's a good time. It's not a bad game. It's fun. You guys should definitely check it out if you can get into the PTS. I think it's public now, so check that out if you guys like it. But that's all the time I got for today, and this is probably going to be my last Paladins video. I really have no intention on doing any more. Hopefully this answers some of your guys' questions, and I will see you guys next time.